Hello and welcome, dear listeners, to Speak Up Flow. This is the podcast where we talk in simple and clear English about how you can improve your English every single day.
That's right, Sophia. Here at Speak Up Flow, we believe that learning English should not feel heavy or stressful. It should feel natural, smooth, and full of confidence, just like a river that flows.
Every episode, we ask one big question about English learning, and then we answer it together in an easy way. So, if you are at home, in the bus, at school, or even walking in the park, just relax and listen.
And remember, friends, this is not just about learning words. It's about building your future with English. When you speak, your voice matters, and when you listen, you grow. That's the heart of Speak Up Flow.
So let's begin today's podcast, and let's learn English together, step by step. Daniel, many learners feel confused, and they keep asking this big question again and again. Why is listening so important for people who want to learn English? And how can listening really make their learning faster and easier, not only in school but also in daily life?
Sophia, listening is the heart of learning a language. Let me explain in a very simple way. Imagine a small child. When the child is born, the child cannot read books, cannot write words, and cannot even speak. But the child can listen. Every day the child listens to the parents, to family members, to neighbors, and to people around. After many months of only listening, slowly the child starts speaking. First, the child speaks small words like mama and papa, and then, after more listening, the child speaks full sentences. This shows us a very important truth. Listening always comes first, and speaking comes after listening. When you listen to English, your brain starts to catch the music of the language. It learns the sound of words, the rhythm of sentences, and the way people connect one word with another. For example, when you read the words going to in a book, it looks very clear. But when you listen to a native speaker, they do not say going to slowly, they say gonna. If you never listen, you will not understand this short form. But if you listen again and again, your brain will remember it automatically. And one day when you speak, you will also use it naturally. Listening also helps you learn faster because your brain does not need to translate everything. Many learners try to translate from their mother language into English, and that makes learning very slow. But when you listen a lot, your brain begins to understand English directly, without translation. For example, when you hear the word water, you will not first think in your own language and then translate it into English. Instead, your brain will directly understand water. This makes learning quick, simple, and natural. Another reason listening is important is because it gives you confidence in real life. In books, the English is perfect, and sometimes very formal. But in daily life, people speak fast. They use short forms, and sometimes they even mix emotions and body language with words. If you listen every day, you will get used to this real English. When someone talks to you, you will not feel lost or afraid. Instead, you will feel calm because your ears already know how English sounds. So, Sophia, listening is important because it is like food for your brain. Every time you listen, your brain becomes stronger in English. If you listen daily, you will learn faster, you will understand more, and you will speak better. Without listening, learning is like trying to run without first learning how to walk. But with listening, you build a strong foundation, and then speaking, reading, and writing all become easier and more enjoyable.
Daniel, many learners tell me they want to practice listening, but they do not know how to do it in a simple way. Some of them say they get bored, and some of them say they feel tired after only a few minutes. So my question is this: what are some simple and practical ways that a learner can use to practice listening skills every single day without feeling tired or bored?
Sophia, this is a very important question because many people think listening practice means they must sit for many hours and listen to very difficult English. But that is not true. Listening can be very simple and enjoyable if you choose the right methods. Let me explain step by step. First, learners should choose listening materials that they enjoy. If you like music, listen to English songs. If you like stories, listen to short English audiobooks or podcasts. If you like movies, watch films in English with subtitles. The important thing is to listen to something that makes you happy. If you listen to something boring, your brain will lose focus quickly. But if you enjoy it, you will not even feel that you are studying. Second, listening does not need to take many hours. Even 10 to 15 minutes every day is enough to build a strong habit. For example, you can listen while walking, while cooking, or while sitting on a bus. If you make listening part of your daily routine, it will not feel like extra work. It will feel like a normal part of life, just like brushing your teeth or drinking water. Third, learners can start with easy material and then slowly move to more difficult material. At the beginning, simple English podcasts or children's stories are very helpful because the speakers talk slowly and use easy words. Later, when your listening becomes stronger, you can try watching TV shows, YouTube videos, or news channels where people speak naturally and sometimes quickly. This step-by-step method keeps you from feeling tired or frustrated. Fourth, it is very good to listen to the same audio many times. For example, if you listen to a short podcast today and understand only half of it, listen again tomorrow. The second time you will catch more words. The third time you will catch even more. Repeating the same audio makes your ears stronger, and your brain slowly starts to recognize words and sentences without stress. Finally, Sofia, learners should remember that listening is not only about understanding every word, it is about training the ears to accept English as a natural sound. If they practice daily, even in small steps, they will see big improvement in a few weeks. The key is to enjoy the process and not to force yourself. When you enjoy listening, you will never feel tired or bored, and English will become part of your daily life in a very natural way.
Daniel, many learners feel confused when they start practicing listening. They often ask me, should learners focus only on slow and clear English at the beginning? Or should they also listen to fast English? And why is this choice so important for their learning journey?
Sofia, this is a very good question, because listening speed is one of the biggest challenges for learners. At the beginning, slow and clear English is very helpful. When the teacher or speaker talks slowly, it is easier to catch the words, understand the meaning, and build confidence. Slow English is like the training wheels on a bicycle. It helps you balance when you are just starting. But if a learner always listens only to slow English, they will face problems later. In real life, people do not speak slowly. Friends, co-workers, and even people on the street usually speak fast. They connect words together. They use short forms like wanna instead of want to, or gonna instead of going to. If you never train your ears to listen to fast English, you will feel shocked when you hear natural conversations. That is why the best way is a combination. Start with slow English to build your foundation, but slowly add fast English to train your ears for real life. For example, in the first month, you can listen mostly to slow English, like children's stories or learning podcasts. In the second month, you can add a few minutes of faster English, like movies or YouTube videos. Step by step, your brain will adjust, and soon fast English will not feel scary anymore. Also, listening to fast English, even if you don't understand everything, is still very useful. Your brain starts to recognize the rhythm and flow of the language. Even if you catch only the main idea, that is enough. Later, when you listen again, you will understand more. Slowly, your ears will become comfortable with both slow and fast English. So, Sophia, the answer is this. Learners should use both. Start slow for clear understanding, and then add fast English for real-life practice. If you use only slow English, you will stay in the safe zone but not grow. If you use only fast English from the beginning, you may feel lost and discouraged. But if you mix both step by step, your listening skills will become strong, and you will be ready for any situation, whether it is a slow classroom lesson or a fast street conversation.
Daniel, many learners tell me the same problem again and again. They say, when I listen to English, I cannot understand every single word. And then I feel sad, I feel upset, and sometimes I even lose my motivation. So my question to you is this. What should a learner do when they listen to something in English but cannot understand every word? And how can they avoid feeling upset or losing hope in themselves?
Sophia, this is such an important question because this problem is very common. Almost every English learner in the world faces this challenge, and it is completely normal. First, learners must remember one big truth. You do not need to understand every single word to understand English. Even native speakers, people who were born with English, sometimes do not catch every word when someone speaks too fast, when there is noise, or when the accent is different. So if learners cannot understand every word, it does not mean they are weak. It only means they are learning. And learning always takes time. Now, let us talk about what they should do. The first step is to focus on the main idea, not on every small detail. For example, imagine you are listening to a short story. Maybe the speaker says, "Yesterday I went to the supermarket, I bought some vegetables, I met my friend, and then we went to a coffee shop." Even if you do not understand the word supermarket or vegetables, you can still understand the main idea. The person went shopping and then met a friend. That is enough for the first stage. With time, your brain will slowly collect the missing words. The second step is listening many times to the same audio. The first time you listen, maybe you only understand 30 or 40%. The second time, you will catch more words. The third time, even more. This is because your brain is like a sponge. The more you pour water on it, the more it absorbs. Every time you repeat, your brain becomes stronger, and words that sounded difficult before will suddenly sound familiar. The third step is to choose the right material. If something feels too difficult and you understand nothing, it will make you upset and tired. Instead, pick material that is just a little above your level. For example, you can start with English podcasts made for learners, children's stories, or short news clips with slow English. When you feel more confident, you can move to movies, songs, or fast conversations. This way, you will not feel lost, and your motivation will stay strong. The fourth step is to be patient and kind to yourself. Language learning is like growing a tree. You plant the seed today, but the tree does not become tall in one night. You must water it every day, and slowly it grows. The same with listening. Every minute you spend listening is like water for your English tree. If you are patient, you will see big results in the future. Finally, to avoid losing motivation, learners should remember this. Every time you listen, even if you don't understand much, your brain is still learning. It is like exercise. When you go to the gym, you don't see muscles grow in one day, but inside your body, changes are happening. With listening, the same thing is happening inside your brain. You are training your ears, building memory, and preparing yourself for the future. So, Sophia, the answer is simple. Don't worry about every word. Focus on the main idea. Repeat the audio many times. Choose the right material. And be patient. If learners do this, they will never feel upset. Instead, they will feel stronger, more confident, and more motivated each day.
Daniel, this is my last question, and I think it is the most interesting one. Many learners want to speak English fluently and with confidence, but they sometimes do not realize how listening and speaking are connected. So my question is this: how can listening skills help someone speak better English? And why does listening make speaking more natural and confident?
Sophia, this is a wonderful question. And the answer is very powerful. Listening and speaking are like two best friends that always work together. If you want to speak well, you must first listen well. Let me explain step by step in a simple way. First, when you listen to English, you hear how words are pronounced correctly. Many learners read English in books, but never hear the real sound. For example, they read the word comfortable and think it is pronounced as comfortable. But when they listen, they hear that native speakers say it much faster, like comfortable. Only through listening can you learn the real pronunciation. Later, when you speak, your mouth will copy the sound your ears remember, and this makes your English more natural. Second, listening teaches you the rhythm and tone of English. English is not only about words, it is also about how the words are said. For example, when someone asks a question, their voice goes up at the end, "How are you?" But in a normal sentence, the voice goes down, "I am fine." If you never listen, you will not understand this music of English. But if you listen every day, your brain will automatically learn this rhythm. And when you speak, you will sound more confident and clear. Third, listening gives you ready-made sentences and expressions that you can use in your own speech. For example, if you always hear people say, "Nice to meet you," or "That sounds great," your brain remembers these phrases. The next time you're in a real situation, the phrase will come out naturally, without you needing to think too much. This is how listening makes speaking faster and easier. Fourth, listening reduces fear. Many learners are afraid to speak because they think, "What if I make a mistake?" But when you listen a lot, you already know how sentences should sound. Your brain feels safe and your tongue feels ready. This makes you more confident when you open your mouth to speak. Finally, listening is like filling a cup with water. Every time you listen, you add more water to the cup. Speaking is like pouring the water out. If your cup is empty, you cannot pour anything out. But if your cup is full from lots of listening, then speaking will flow naturally, like water from a full cup. So, Sophia, the truth is very clear. Listening is not only about understanding others, it is also about preparing yourself to speak. The more you listen, the more natural, confident, and fluent your speaking will become. That is why listening is the foundation of speaking. Without it, speaking will always feel difficult. But with it, speaking becomes smooth and enjoyable.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We hope that what we shared was clear, simple, and helpful for your English journey.
Yes, friends, remember that learning English is not a race. It's a journey. And every little step you take makes you stronger and more confident.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Speak Up Flow. Your support helps us bring more easy English tips and conversations for you.
And don't keep it to yourself. Tell your friends, your classmates, even your family, so we can all grow together in English.
Thank you for listening with us today. Keep practicing, keep believing, and always let your English flow. See you in the next episode of Speak Up Flow.